Welcome to Sleep with Myth. Close your eyes and let the world fade away. Tonight we drift beyond time, where gods dream and stories remember their light. They said the mountain had no summit. That was the first story May heard as a child, told in whispers by elders who never looked directly at the great peak that ruled the northern horizon. The mountain rose like a sleeping colossus, wrapped in mist so thick that even at noon sunlight could not reveal its crown. Some mountains reached the clouds. This one swallowed them. For centuries, people believed it was not a mountain at all, but a memory of the earth, an ancient spirit frozen in stone. But to May it was simply home. She lived at the foot of the giant, in a valley where rivers curled like silver threads and the wind carried the scent of pine and old rain. Every morning she walked to the base of the mountain to fetch water, and every morning she felt the same strange tug behind her ribs, as if something high above was calling her name in a voice too old to understand. May never told anyone, not even her grandmother, who seemed to know every secret the wind tried to hide. But the mountain knew, and it waited. One dawn, when the mist hung low like a sleeping veil, May heard a sound that wasn't wind, a soft hum, a steady vibration, like footsteps but impossibly far away. She froze. The ground beneath her toes trembled, not with the heavy quakes of danger, but with something rhythmic, almost alive. The stone path she stood on warmed suddenly, glowing faintly beneath her feet. She knelt, placed her palm on the earth. The mountain hummed again, stronger this time, felt like a heartbeat. Grandmother! May breathed, though she knew her grandmother was still inside, sleeping gently by the hearth. The hum grew brighter, echoing through the valley like a song unfolding inside the stone. The mist parted as if stirred by invisible breath, curling upward in long spirals that climbed toward the unseen summit. May stood, heart pounding, breath shallow. The mountain was calling her, not metaphorically, not in legend, literally, and she could feel it, like a thread of light pulling her forward. The first step May took felt innocent. The second felt heavy. By the third, she realized the mountain had changed. New stones appeared beneath her feet, fitting together like ancient puzzle pieces. The old cracked path she had known her entire life now shimmered faintly with a soft blue glow, as if remembering a shape it had not worn in ages. And then she saw them, steps, thousands of them, carved into the stone, rising in a spiraling path into the clouds. Her breath caught. These steps had never existed. Her grandmother would have known. Everyone would have known. Yet here they were, revealing themselves as though waking from a long sleep. May touched the nearest one. It pulsed beneath her fingers, warm, alive, aware. A whisper drifted through her mind. Walk! She jerked back, stumbling. But the mountain was patient. It whispered again. Walk! May shook her head. I can't. I don't know what you want. The mountain answered by quieting the wind around her. Silence wrapped her like a blanket. Calm seeped into her bones. She looked again at the glowing steps. One step, then another, then another. Her chest tightened, not with fear, but with recognition. She had dreamed of these steps, many times, a spiral of stone climbing forever into a sky she could never reach. Was it really a dream, or a memory the mountain had given her? May climbed the first step. The air shifted instantly, becoming warm as summer, though the valley behind her was still wrapped in frost. The mist parted again, clearing just enough to show the next set of steps, and beyond them, a faint silhouette carved into the stone wall. A figure, tall, silent, watching. May blinked. The silhouette faded, but something remained behind. A faint, luminous crack in the stone, shaped almost like an eye. She felt it watching her. Not menacing, not cold, simply waiting. "Why me?" she whispered. The mountain answered with a soft rumble that felt like a sigh. The steps ahead glowed brighter, inviting her, guiding her. May lifted her foot again, and climbed. Halfway up the first curve of the path, she stopped, because the world below her shifted. The valley blurred, shimmering as if seen through rippling water. The snow-covered forests became waves of pale silver. The river became a ribbon of light. Her home, her grandmother, everything faded into something dreamlike, as though she were stepping out of the waking world entirely. Her breath hitched. "What is happening?" The mountain whispered. "You are entering the dream." May's pulse quickened. A mountain that could dream. A path that appeared only when called. Steps that hummed with memory. Her grandmother's old stories rose in her mind. "When the world was young," she had said, "there were mountains that walked, rivers that spoke, and dreams that carved the land. Some mountains sleep, some mountains remember, and one mountain waits." May had never believed it, but she believed now, because the path beneath her feet felt older than language, older than time, and as she climbed, the mist around her shimmered like a veil of stars forming and dissolving with each breath she took. The dreaming path, that was what her grandmother had called it. A road that revealed itself only to those the mountain chose. May pressed a trembling hand to her chest. "Why me?" she asked again. This time, the mountain answered with words that vibrated through her ribs. "Because you can hear me." May climbed until the valley disappeared below the clouds, until her legs trembled and her lungs ached, until the air felt thin and sharp as crystal. And then the path stopped. Abruptly, completely, a stone platform unfurled before her, floating in a sea of mist. On its center stood a tall, ancient archway carved from obsidian black stone. Etchings flowed across its surface like veins of molten gold, and at its crown glowed a symbol, a single step, suspended in light. May touched it. The archway pulsed, her vision blurred, and the mountain whispered, "This is only the beginning." The archway hummed like a distant echo of thunder, though the sky above May remained empty and silent. Light pulsed through the golden veins carved along its obsidian frame, winding upward like serpents awakening from centuries of stillness. May stepped closer. Her fingertips tingled as she reached toward the stone. The moment her skin brushed the archway, the air around her shifted, as if the mountain inhaled. Mist swirled inward, coiling around her feet, her legs, her shoulders, spiraling higher until it crowned her like a veil. The stone beneath her vibrated with warmth, the kind of warmth that did not belong to the physical world. The path behind her faded. The valley disappeared. Even the sky dimmed. All that remained was the archway, and the heartbeat, deep, slow, ancient. Thump, thump. It matched the rhythm she had felt since childhood. The rhythm she thought was her imagination's trick, the phantom echo of a world she did not understand. But now, standing before the arch, she realized the truth. It had always been the mountain, calling her, guiding her, waiting for her. A soft whisper brushed her ear, though there was no wind. Step through. May's breath trembled. I don't know what's on the other side. The mountain replied with silence that felt almost amused, like an elder waiting patiently for a child to realize something obvious. Then the whisper came again, gentler this time. Your steps, remember. May tightened her grip on the strap of her satchel. She had brought nothing special. A small lantern, a thin rope, a cloth of dried herbs, a handful of rice cakes her grandmother made. She had no weapon, no armor, no knowledge of what waited ahead. But still, she lifted her foot and stepped through the arch. Light swallowed her. Not harsh light, not blinding. It felt like stepping into a memory, warm, familiar, and frightening in its clarity. May gasped as her feet touched ground again. But the ground wasn't stone anymore. It was sand. White, shimmering sand that drifted beneath her feet like powdered snow. Stretching endlessly in all directions, the sand reflected faint traces of her footprints, but only for a moment. As soon as she took another step, they disappeared. She turned around. The archway was still behind her, but distant now, as though she had walked far without moving. A desert of memory. That was the only phrase that made sense. Where am I? The air shimmered. Something formed before her. A faint image, shifting like heat above a flame. Not a creature. Not a person. A memory. A small girl, her hair tied in two uneven braids, running across a field of tall reeds. She laughed, chasing a glowing, floating light no larger than a firefly. May's breath caught as she recognized the field. It was the valley, her valley, from before the snows, before the river froze, before the winds turned sharp, before the mountain fell asleep. Is that me? May whispered. The memory girl stopped running, turned, and smiled at her. The smile felt real, too real. May took an involuntary step forward. But the memory dissolved into drifting motes of light. Another formed, this one older. Her mother, kneeling by the riverbank, washing vegetables in a wooden basin. The sun glowed warmly on her face. Her eyes carried the same quiet determination May saw in the mirror every morning. Mother? The memory wavered, then vanished. May's chest tightened. These were not illusions, not dreams. The mountain was showing her what had been forgotten. A wind moved, gentle at first, then stronger. Sand spiraled upward in twisting columns. The ground trembled beneath her feet. Something massive stirred beneath the desert. Something ancient. A voice rose, heavy as stone grinding against stone. You carry what once was. Now see what could not be kept. The sand split open in a long, jagged fissure. Light erupted from it. May shielded her eyes. Images poured upward in a swirling storm. Villagers fleeing through snow. Her grandmother standing at a shuttered window. Fear in her eyes. The mountain shaking. A storm without wind. The sky cracking like broken glass. Her mother running toward the mountain, not away from it. May staggered back. No, this can't be real. The voice resonated again. Closer now. Memory is not kindness. It is truth. The sand collapsed back into itself, burying the visions. May stood breathless. Her heart felt too heavy for her chest. Her lungs protested each inhale. Why are you showing me this? She whispered. The desert wind paused. Then, a figure stepped from the mist. Not human. Not entirely. It was tall. Taller than any person. And its body was shaped like shifting layers of stone and cloud intertwined. A cloak of sand trailed behind it, dissolving and reforming with each step. But its face was carved with impossible detail, like a mask born from the mountain itself. It regarded her with eyes made of swirling stars. May froze. Who are you? The figure's voice rolled across the desert like thunder muffled by fog. The guardian of the first step. May swallowed hard. Why am I here? Its head tilted slightly as if studying her. You have been called to climb. I don't understand. The guardian raised an arm, and the desert split in two. Beneath the sand, a glowing path of steps stretched into the distance, thousands of them, descending into a deep, luminous ravine. Steps made of memory, steps made of light, steps made of everything the mountain had ever hidden. May felt the pull again, the same pull she felt at the mountain's base, but much stronger. What is this place? She asked. The first memory, the guardian replied. The beginning of all paths. May's breath trembled. And what am I meant to do? The guardian lifted its hand. A single glowing step floated upward, hovering before her like a fragile shard of starfire. Walk, it said. May reached toward the step, pulsed in response. Warm, alive, familiar. Her fingers brushed it. Her vision exploded into white. May's vision cleared slowly. First the trembling light, then the shapes, and then the world as it truly was. She blinked, feeling the echo of the white flash linger in her blood like embers refusing to cool. When her eyes adjusted, she found herself standing at the mouth of a vast ravine. A ravine carved not by water, nor by wind, but by footsteps. Each cliff wall bore thousands of indentations. Shallow impressions, deep prints, long sweeping marks that looked almost like trails left by giants. The rocks shimmered faintly with luminous dust, as though remembering every step that had ever passed through them. May swallowed. The steps of who? As if answering her, the air shifted. A faint vibration rippled through the ravine floor, light, almost playful, like the mountain was laughing at her question. Her lantern flickered. The light from the stone steps behind her dimmed. Right? Forward, she whispered. She took her first step into the ravine. The moment her foot touched the glowing stone path, the world answered. A sound rose around her, soft, layered, endless. Footsteps, but not hers. Some were heavy, some delicate, some sounded like they belonged to creatures with too many legs. Others brushed the stone as lightly as falling snow. Every step overlapped with the next, creating a strange, haunting rhythm. A music made not of instruments, not of voices, but of movement, of every soul who had ever walked this dream path. May tightened her grip on her satchel. The steps continued. They did not fade. They grew louder, more distinct, more intentional. as though following her. She spun around. Nothing. Only the luminous cliffs and the ribbon-like path of steps carved through the ravine. "Okay, calm down," she whispered. But the mountain was not interested in calm. The echoes grew sharper, racing together, forming a pattern. Pattern May recognized with a jolt. Her mother's footsteps. Slow, firm, always leaning slightly to the left, because she used to carry water jars balanced on one side. May's chest tightened painfully. "No, you can't be." A shape flickered at the corner of her vision. She turned sharply. There, a silhouette of a woman, tall, wearing the familiar shawl of woven reeds, hair tied back the way her mother always wore it, standing several steps ahead, half shrouded in the ravine mist. "Mother!" The word escaped without thought. The figure didn't answer, but it took a step. The echo boomed through the ravine. May's breath froze. She took a step forward, hesitant, trembling. The figure stepped again, and again, and again, always keeping the same distance, neither approaching nor retreating. May felt her heart pulling her forward, but her reason whispering danger. "Are you real? Are you a memory?" She couldn't tell. The ravine shimmered with illusions and truths interwoven so tightly she no longer knew where one ended and the other began. The silhouette stopped. May stopped too. The woman raised her hand, gesture slow, deliberate, and pointed deeper into the ravine, toward a narrow canyon where the light dimmed, and the path fractured into countless smaller paths. They twisted like branching veins, each glowing a different color: blue, gold, red, violet. Which path was she supposed to take? "Mother, please tell me." The silhouette didn't move, only pointed. Then, as if made of dust, her form scattered into glowing fragments. May reached out helplessly. "Wait!" But it was too late. The light drifted away like embers on wind. Silence. May stood trembling, trying to steady her breathing. "She's gone," she whispered. Again. The ravine didn't answer. It didn't comfort. It simply existed, ancient, indifferent, watching. Finally, May turned to the branching paths. There were too many. She knelt and touched the ground. Each path pulsed with a faint heartbeat, but one, the faintest one, throbbed in the exact same rhythm she had always felt beneath her ribs since childhood. Her mother's rhythm, her mountain's rhythm, her own. "That's the one." She rose and stepped onto the faintest path. Immediately, the ravine responded. The walls trembled softly. The echoes of footsteps rearranged themselves, forming a steady, guiding pulse, like a drumbeat marking her pace. May walked faster, then faster still. The canyon walls narrowed, the air cooled, and the light dimmed to a silvery blue glow. The echoes changed. They no longer sounded like footsteps. They sounded like voices, whispering, calling, warning. May stopped. The whispers wove together into sentences she could barely understand. "Turn back. Don't climb. The summit remembers everything." She clenched her fists. "I came this far. I won't turn back." The whispers grew frantic. "You are not ready. The path will break you. Your name will not survive." May shut her eyes briefly. Then, with a trembling breath, she continued forward. The whispers screamed, and then vanished, as if cut off by an unseen blade. The canyon opened suddenly into a wide chamber carved of shimmering stone. At its center stood a staircase, but not like the glowing steps before. This staircase was jagged, fractured, broken in places, reforged in others. Every step was different. Some stone, some crystal, some bone, some shimmering light. 10,000 steps, or the beginning of them. At the base of the staircase, a small stone tablet pulsed faintly. Symbols glowed across it, symbols May somehow understood instinctively. Those who climb carry all their steps with them. May touched the tablet. It grew warm beneath her hand. Her lantern flickered wildly. Then, without warning, the first step rose upward, lifting itself from the staircase like a living thing. It hovered before her, the same way the floating step had in the desert. But this time, it glowed with a pale blue flame. May stared at it, realizing this was no memory. This was a trial. She reached out. The step pulsed. Her heartbeat quickened. Her fingers brushed the step, and the world shattered into echoing light. May didn't feel her body fall, only the sensation of being caught by something without form. The shattering light that had consumed her dissolved into soft, trembling embers drifting downward, and she drifted with them, suspended in a weightless, soundless void. Slowly, the darkness around her reshaped, not into a place, but into a heartbeat. Thump! A pulse of blue fire rippled beneath her feet. Thump! The world reassembled itself around the rhythm. Stone rising in spirals of jagged crystal, forming a vast chamber that pulsed like a giant's lungs. The air trembled, thick with ancient pressure. So this is the mountain heart? May whispered. A low rumble rolled through the chamber, answering her with a pulse of blue fire. 10 glowing paths ignited across the ground, each one shimmering with a different essence. Gold, smoke, frost, starlight, shadow, memory, grief, hope, loss, and one path that remained utterly dark. The guardian of the first step emerged from the shadows, cracked, fractured, its stone mask face, splitting with burning blue fissures. You have reached the heart, it said, and waking things break. May stepped back. Why bring me here? The guardian gestured toward the 10 paths. Choose. Choose what? The trial of the mountain heart. May stared at the paths, her chest tightening. Responsibility, fear, grief, hope, loss. Each path was a piece of her life. Her mother's laughter, her grandmother's warnings, the valleys. Cold silence, the guilt of not understanding sooner. And the dark path. That one isn't mine, she whispered. The guardian's shimmering eyes dimmed. It is the step that was never taken. May's breath caught. My mother didn't climb it. No, said the guardian. And thus the mountain slept. Blue fire surged from the chamber floor. May's voice trembled. If I climb it, the mountain wakes? For good, the guardian replied. For ruin or renewal. What if I fail? For good. Terror and destiny pressed tight against her ribs. Finally, she whispered, I'll do it. The guardian bowed its cracked head. Then the trials begin. Blue fire erupted across the chamber, hurling May into the first trial. She landed on a bridge of shifting glass stretched over a bottomless abyss. Memories swirled below, her like shadows trapped under frozen water. The bridge cracked, the trial of weight, every regret, every doubt, Every hesitation made the glass crack deeper. May whispered, "I will carry this too." The glass steadied, allowing her to cross before shattering behind her. The second trial unfolded instantly, a hall of mirrors with no reflections, only possibilities. May the coward, May the wanderer, May the warrior, May who never climbed, May who abandoned the mountain. "Choose who you are," hissed a voice. May touched none of the mirrors. "I am the one who climbed." The hall dissolved. The third trial struck like a storm, a wasteland of snow, wind screaming like broken mountains, shadows circling like hungry beasts. "You walk alone," whispered the wind. "No one climbs alone," May answered. "They climb with every step taken before." The shadows dissolved. The wasteland cracked open. May fell to her knees, trembling. "You have survived the first 3, said the guardian, its body more broken than before. Her eyes drifted to the dark path. "How many more?" 10,000. "That's impossible." "Then climb the one," the guardian whispered, "that all others feared." The dark path flickered, weak but alive. May stood, legs shaking. She placed her foot onto the dark path. The chamber roared. The mountain trembled. The trial of the step that was never taken began. May felt the dark path swallow her like a breath taken by something ancient and uncertain. No wind, no sound, no direction, just the mountain's pulse, slow, strained, and waiting. The darkness around her wasn't empty. It was thick, like ink swirling with memory. Every step she took made a soft ripple, as though she were walking across the surface of a dream that barely supported her weight. Thump! The pulse shook the void again, weaker this time. May steadied her breath. She had come too far to fear silence. Then, from within the darkness, a shape stirred. A single broken step of translucent stone, glowing with blue flame, rose from the path. It flickered, unsure it deserved to exist. May reached out. Her fingers brushed it, and the darkness tore open. Visions surged. The valley buried in snow, lanterns flickering with fading hope. The frozen river that forgot to move. Her grandmother waiting by the window. Her mother running toward the mountain. Eyes fierce, terrified, determined. Her mother's voice echoed. "The mountain must wake. If we don't climb, the world will stop." The visions shattered, and May was again on the dark path. "What happened to her?" she whispered into the silence. The mountain gave no answer. She walked forward. Another broken step rose. But this time, "Stop!" The guardian emerged, broken, hollow, leaking blue fire. "You do not understand the path you choose," it said. "I don't care," May answered. "I have to finish the climb. It leads to what the mountain buried, what even your mother feared." May lifted her chin. "Then show me." "You are not ready." "Show me anyway." The void trembled, then opened. She stood at the summit. Not the false summit she'd seen in stories, but the true peak, untouched by wind. The sky was cracked. Starlight drifted like ice. On the ground lay a colossal ancient seal, broken, its runes dimmed. Beside it, a woven shawl, her mother's, still warm, still waiting, still here. May collapsed. "Mother, where are you?" The wind carved a single answer. "Below." Something immense shifted beneath the broken seal. Old, sleeping, hungry, thump, then silence. The vision shattered, and May was thrown back onto the dark path. The guardian kneeled, cracking apart. Your mother reached this place, it said, and she turned back. Why? May demanded. She saw the truth of the summit. She broke the seal. She bound what slept beneath. May's voice broke. She's still here? Alive? Not trapped, the guardian whispered. Bound. The word cut her deeply. The mountain is dying. If you climb the final steps, you may free her. Or you may free the thing she tried to contain. May did not hesitate. I'm going. You are your mother's daughter. A final broken step rose. Blue fire swirling like memory. May stepped onto it. The world tilted. Light broke like shattered glass, and the true summit rose to meet her. May stood at the threshold of the true summit. The world around her flickered like a candle fighting its last breath. The sky was dark, not with night, but with exhaustion, as if even the heavens had forgotten how to hold their own weight. The final step awaited her, a shard of stone suspended in air, glowing with blue flame that pulsed in time with her heartbeat, and the mountains. Thump, fragile, fractured, fading. May reached forward, and the flame rippled. The wind whispered, but it wasn't the mountain. It wasn't the guardian. It was a voice she knew better than her own. May! Her body froze. Her mother's voice, soft, exhausted, warm, echoed through the summit. Mother? May whispered. A figure emerged through the shimmering veil of cracked starlight. Her mother, but not as she remembered. Her hair had turned silver. Her skin faintly glowed with the same blue fire as the steps. Her eyes carried the weight of storms. Yet she smiled. My brave girl, her mother said. You climbed further than I ever could. May ran toward her, but a force like cold wind pushed her back. No, her mother said gently. If you come closer, the mountain will claim you too. May shook her head violently. I don't care. I came to bring you home. Her mother's eyes softened, but fear hid behind the warmth. You don't understand. I am part of the seal now. I hold back the thing that sleeps below. If I leave, the summit shook violently. A roar rose from beneath them, deep, ancient, starving. Cracks tore through the stone. Blue fire burst upward like dying breaths. The mountain screamed. May's mother pressed a glowing hand to the fractured seal. For years, she whispered, I've held it here, alone, fading piece by piece. May felt tears burn down her cheeks. You shouldn't have been alone. No mother wishes to burden her child with what sleeps beneath the dark path. The roar rose again, shaking the summit. May reached out, voice breaking. Let me help you. Her mother turned, slowly, painfully, and May saw chains of blue fire tethering her to the seal. Her mother whispered, The one who climbs the dark path does not return. May's breath shattered. That's not true. It is, her mother said. It always has been. The mountain pulsed violently. The seal split further. A massive shadow coiled beneath the cracks. The mountain's heart gave a weak pulse. Thump, then silence. May gasped as the vision shattered, and she was thrown back onto the dark path. The guardian kneeled, its body cracked and failing. Your mother reached this place, it said, and she turned back. Why? May demanded. She saw the truth of the summit. She broke the seal. She bound what slept beneath. She's still here? Alive? Not trapped, the guardian whispered. Bound. The word cut her deeply. The mountain is dying. If you climb the final steps, you may free her. Or you may free the thing she tried to contain. May did not hesitate. I'm going. You are your mother's daughter. A final broken step rose. Blue fire swirling like memory. May stepped onto it. The world tilted. Light broke like shattered glass. And the true summit rose to meet her. May stood at the summit once more. The sky split open. Shards of starlight fell like drifting feathers. Her mother knelt by the seal, chains dragging her down like gravity made of sorrow. May approached. The seal screamed, splitting wider. The shadow surged upward. May grabbed the final step. It blazed in her hands. Her mother smiled. Say your name, she whispered, and give the mountain a new beginning. May lifted the glowing step. The shadow lunged. May shouted, My name is May. The step exploded into light. The summit shattered. The seal healed. The shadow dissolved into dust. Her mother's chains melted away, turning into drifting sparks. Her mother exhaled relief, peace, release. My daughter, I am proud. And she was gone. The mountain breathed. Snow melted. Wind moved. The valley stirred. The river remembered its name. The mountain woke. May knelt, placing her hand over the stone. I will carry your steps, she whispered. Always. Dawn broke over the summit. Her journey was complete. But her name remained in the mountain's heartbeat forever. Thank you for listening to Sleep with Myth.